Instead of laying down and scrolling this entire summer, this can be your best summer yet by going out, staying active, and looking your best. So I really think that there are some things that you could do, matter of fact, that you should be doing. So let's consider this the non-negotiables for this summer. First one is always being well dressed. Doesn't matter where you go, even if you're just stepping out for groceries. You should aim to always look good, because let's be honest, you never know who you're gonna meet. You can go to a coffee shop and meet the absolute love of your life. Not gonna lie, that's like 60% of the reason why I go to coffee shops. And of course for the summer, being comfortable is also very important. And I really do think that I'm getting that down. Having that perfect in between of being comfortable and looking your best. So here are some of the items that I recommend. The first one is this breezy shirt from Abercrombie & Fitch. I love this green. I love how it's kind of flowy, super lightweight and comfortable. So in my opinion, it's just one of the best shirts to be wearing this summer. Linen pants is also a great option, especially for those of you guys who don't like to wear shorts. Again, linen is just one of the best fabrics to be wearing. Super lightweight. The ones that I have are from Abercrombie, but there's tons of brands that sell some similar pieces. Another shirt that I've been wearing a ton is actually the shirt that I'm wearing right now. This one I got from Paxson. It's this jersey t-shirt, which kind of has like a mesh design. So you know air is going to be flowing through this thing. I love that it has a cropped fit. It's an interesting shirt that you don't see a lot of other guys wearing. Now this is definitely more on the streetwear side of things. So if that is your vibe, then this is the perfect shirt. Now just in general, cropped t-shirts are probably one of the best things that you could be wearing. When it comes to a neutral cropped t-shirt, my all-time favorite are these from Ours. I genuinely consider these the perfect fit. And in case you're wondering, everything is going to be linked in the description. Of course, you can't forget about shorts. Now there's really only two options that I go for when it comes to shorts, and that is linen shorts and gym shorts. Now when you think of gym shorts, Adam Sandler gym shorts, that is not at all what I'm talking about. I am talking about 5-inch shorts that are super lightweight and ideally some with some interesting colors. My favorite are these brown shorts from Lululemon. All right, the next non-negotiable is that you always have to smell good. And therefore, summer fragrances are an absolute must. But before we get into those, make sure that you're wearing deodorant, and especially when it's hot outside, don't think that you could just put this on once and be good throughout the day. If you really want to make sure that you're smelling good, just reapply throughout the day. Now I used to think that you can only wear summer fragrances when the weather starts to get hotter, but I completely changed my mind. Now I really only categorize my fragrances to morning and night. So if I'm gonna be going throughout the day, again, to some coffee shops or anything like that, I'm gonna throw on something lightweight, fresh, aquatic. For example, Bleu de Chanel. This is an all-time classic, and I think for good reason. This one smells incredible. It lasts a long time, so you really can't go wrong with this one. Now, if I'm gonna be going out at night, I want something a little bit stronger, and I think a little bit right for the occasion. Now, I still want this pretty lightweight, and if anything, just a little bit more sweet. So I really recommend Hugo Boss The Scent. This is actually one of my all-time favorite colognes in general, so I'm still wearing this a lot. All right, the next thing you can't forget is sunscreen. And I really think that you shouldn't go outside without applying sunscreen. So every morning I throw this on, because let's be real, getting burnt sucks. It's incredibly painful, and then you probably can't go out for the next few days. So I at minimum try to go for 50 SPF. My daily sunscreen for my face is this one from Anua. This doesn't have a white cast. I think I picked this up for about 25 bucks. And again, it's just an absolute non-negotiable. Now, since this is a small bottle, I recommend getting something else for the body. For a body sunscreen, I just go with Native. Again, this is around 50 SPF. And again, I wear this every day, especially if I'm going to be going out without a shirt, whether it's to the pool, on a run. And I don't know if it's just me, but I already feel like I'm gaining some color. So yes, you 100% can still tan while wearing sunscreen, which brings me on to the next point, which is you should absolutely be tanning. First of all, getting some sun is super healthy for you. You're going to be getting some vitamin D. I genuinely think just going outside boosts your serotonin, so it should put you in a better mood. But tanning is going to make you look better. It's going to make your physique look sharper. So whether you're going out on a run or you're just sunbathing, of course you should limit this. If I'm going to be sunbathing, I try to stay around 10 to 15 minutes. That way I know I'm still getting some color, but I'm minimizing it to make sure that I don't get too much sun, because yes, that obviously could be a problem. In fact, I've also been doing this with swimming, which let me tell you is so hard for cardio. I would genuinely rather run 10 miles than doing 20 minutes of swimming. It is a good challenge, so I have been enjoying that so far. Which brings me on to the next non-negotiable, which is staying up with your cardio. Of course, summer's the time to be lean, so here are my favorite forms of cardio. Again, I've been swimming. That is incredibly tough, but I only do this about twice a week. On other days, I also like to go running, and although I do like upping my miles every time just for the challenge, I think it is a pretty good baseline to just run about 2 miles. You don't have to go full speed every time, but at the very minimum, you should be aiming for 10,000 steps every single day. Now, to make sure that you're getting this, I really recommend getting a Whoop, because this tracks your steps alongside plenty of other things like your sleep, your strain level. There are so many benefits to wearing a Whoop, but I gotta say, I've been killing it with my daily steps. Sometimes I go up to 20,000, even 25,000, but there's still a ton of guys out there who think that cardio has to be this intense, absolute gasping for air kind of thing, when that's not at all the case. Being a healthy human being just comes down to making sure that you're moving. And again, 10,000 steps is just a really good baseline. All right, the next thing we're gonna be focusing on this summer is a good diet. Again, not only just so you can stay lean, but having a better diet is gonna clear up your skin. It's gonna give you way better energy throughout the day. And I think just in general, this should be a bare minimum for every guy who really is trying to improve their life. So I'm slowly cleaning up my diet because I'm gonna be honest, I just moved into a new apartment. And let me tell you, I did not want to cook. So I was eating out pretty much every day, just going for the cheapest option. But despite only spending $15 to $20 a day when it comes to eating out, that is still way more expensive than just going on a grocery haul and spacing out your meals. So if you want some good inspiration when it comes to a grocery haul, here's everything that I usually pick up. First of all, for me, ground beef is absolutely essential. I pair this in with some eggs. This is a really good satiating and very healthy meal. I also love getting fish, rice. I absolutely love sourdough bread. I get some avocados, which I'm gonna be honest, I spent my entire life hating avocados, but now this is an absolute staple in my diet. If you pair this in with some honey, I guarantee you, it just tastes incredible. And then if you're just like me and you constantly crave some sweet treats, instead of going out and always eating a pastry, try some Greek yogurt, some protein powder. You could add some toppings. I usually either go with granola or some blueberries. Again, these are simple meals that are gonna keep you full throughout the day and make sure that you're staying healthy. All right, the next thing we're focusing on this summer is making sure that you have good hair. Now, when I say good hair, I mean healthy hair and a good hairstyle. So I really think that you should lock in when it comes to your hair care routine, keeping this simple. Go with products that are not too harsh, ideally with the least amount of chemicals as possible. If you can't tell already, I like a low maintenance hairstyle. So this takes me like 5 minutes to do in the morning. All I do is wet my hair, put some sea salt spray, add a little bit of clay, and now you have an easy laid back look that's definitely gonna help you look more attractive this summer. Now this one is definitely more of a personal thing, but I really like wearing sunglasses every day, especially in the summer. The sun is bearing down on you, so not only is this gonna protect your eyes, this is a good accessory to make your outfits look better. So I usually go with Ray-Bans. My favorite are these Clubmasters, but if you want the most affordable option, just go on Amazon. There's tons of them out there, some for as low as $30. You really just wanna make sure that these are UV protectant, so that way they're actually doing their job. But this really just goes to prove that you don't have to spend a ton of money to look your best this summer. This next one is again, another non-negotiable, and that is staying hydrated. Have to be drinking a ton of water, and better yet, get some electrolytes to make sure that you are actually staying hydrated. Lately, I've just been using these from Quince because these have a good amount of sodium, good amount of potassium, and some decent amount of magnesium. Now, by far, these are the most affordable electrolytes that I've ever had, which is why I recommend these above all else. In fact, they have two of them, the everyday electrolytes and the recovery one. If you're a more active guy, then of course, I definitely recommend the recovery one, but the everyday electrolytes are something that every guy should be taking. Now, the next non-negotiable is going out and socializing. Now, the reason why I'm saying that every guy should be focusing on this is because, for one, social skills is something that I genuinely think that every guy can improve their life by just talking to more people. You never know who you're gonna run into. Again, let's just take the coffee shop example. There are tons of guys out there who will see a pretty girl and just be way too scared to talk to them. Not gonna lie, I'm still like that too sometimes, but it is a good skill to have. And I'm not saying to go try to pick up every girl you see, but I just moved to a new city and I would have absolutely no friends if I was scared to talk to everybody. And right now that it's summer, you should be having fun. You should be going out to pool parties, to the beach, to whatever you wanna do. And talking to people in general can just open up new doors. And I genuinely cannot stress it enough that social skills is in fact a skill that you have to build up. Now, of course, this just comes down to confidence, but once you start to develop confidence in a social aspect, I guarantee you everything else in your life will 100% improve. Now, like I said, this genuinely could be your best summer yet. And if you want to know the hygiene essentials that you need this summer, here's a video to show you exactly that.